22-year-old barista James Cooper spent 3 months secretly learning sign language before finally signing "Good morning, your usual" to his deaf customer on a rainy Tuesday in October, and the elderly woman's face crumpled with emotion as tears streamed down her cheeks. Because in the 4 years she'd been coming to this coffee shop every single day, no employee had ever bothered to learn how to talk to her. Before we dive in, drop a comment and let us know where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you. If you enjoy stories like this, be sure to like the video, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and share it with someone who'd love it too. James had noticed her the first week he started working at Sunrise Cafe. She came in every morning at 7:15, always alone, and always ordered the same thing by pointing at the menu: medium black coffee, blueberry scone. She never spoke, just pointed and smiled sadly when James said good morning. The other baristas called her the Silent Lady. They didn't mean it cruelly. They just didn't know her name. One morning in July, James watched her try to ask for extra napkins. She gestured, pointed. The barista working with him that day looked annoyed, frustrated. Finally just walked away. The woman's shoulders slumped. She took her coffee and left without the napkins. James felt something twist in his chest. That night he Googled how to learn sign language, found free YouTube tutorials, started with the basics, the alphabet, common phrases. Good morning, thank you. Have a nice day. He practiced in his car, in the shower, in front of his mirror at night, and his roommate walked in on him once and asked if he was okay. "I'm learning sign language," James said. "Why?" "For a customer." His roommate looked at him like he was crazy. "Dude, you work at a coffee shop. You don't need to learn a whole language for minimum wage." But it wasn't about the job. It was about the woman who came in every day and was invisible to everyone. 3 months later, James felt ready. He'd practiced the phrase 100 times. His hands were sweating when she walked in that Tuesday morning. She approached the counter, started to point at the menu. James signed. "Good morning. Your usual?" The woman froze. Her eyes went wide. Her hand flew to her mouth. Then she started crying. James panicked. "I'm sorry. Did I say something wrong?" She shook her head frantically, then signed back. No one has ever learned from me before." James smiled. "I wanted to talk to you properly." She signed her name. Margaret Wilson. She was 73 years old. She'd been deaf since birth. She lived alone 2 blocks away. They had a full conversation. It was slow. James had to finger spell some words he didn't know. But they talked. Really talked. For the first time in 4 years, another customer was filming on their phone. James didn't notice. The video was posted to social media that afternoon. By evening, it had 5 million views. By the next morning, it had 20 million. James woke up to hundreds of notifications, messages, friend requests, news outlets asking for interviews. His manager called him. "James, have you seen what's happening online?" "What are you talking about?" "There's a video of you. It's everywhere." CNN wants to interview you. The Today Show called. You're viral." James pulled up the video, watched himself sign to Margaret, watched her cry, read the comments. "This is what humanity should look like. I'm crying at work right now. This barista is a better person than most people I know." James felt overwhelmed. He didn't do this for attention. He did it for Margaret. That afternoon, reporters showed up at Sunrise Cafe. Cameras, microphones. They wanted to interview James, to talk to Margaret. Margaret came in at 7:15 like always, saw the cameras and looked terrified. James went to her immediately, signed. "Do you want to leave? I can make them go away." She signed back. What's happening? Someone filmed us yesterday. The video went viral. People want to talk to us. Margaret's eyes filled with tears again. Why would anyone care about an old deaf woman getting coffee? Because what we did mattered. Because it showed people that kindness still exists. Margaret looked at the cameras, then at James. Will you stay with me? Of course. They did the interview together. James interpreted Margaret's signs. She told her story. About being deaf her whole life. About feeling invisible in a hearing world. About how James learning sign language was the kindest thing anyone had done for her in years. The reporter asked James why he did it. Because she deserved to be seen, to be heard, to be valued. Everyone does. The segment aired that night on the evening news. The video got even bigger, 50 million views, then 100 million. Messages poured in from all over the world, people sharing their own stories of disability, of invisibility, and of small acts of kindness that changed their lives. But not everyone was supportive. Some people accused James of doing it for clout, said he only learned sign language because he knew it would go viral, said the whole thing was staged. The comments hurt more than James expected. He called his mom that night. Maybe I shouldn't have done it. Maybe they're right. Maybe I was just showing off. Were you? His mom asked. No, I swear I wasn't. I didn't even know anyone was filming. Then stop reading the comments. You know the truth. Margaret knows the truth. That's all that matters. The next morning, Margaret came in at 7:15. She looked upset. James signed. What's wrong? She pulled out her phone, showed him an article. Barista accused of exploiting deaf woman for internet fame. James felt sick. I'm so sorry. I never meant for this to happen. Margaret signed back slowly, deliberately. I know, and I don't care what they say. You changed my life. You made me feel like I matter. That's real. Everything else is noise. James's eyes filled with tears. That day, a woman named Dr. Rachel Kim walked into the coffee shop. She introduced herself as a professor of deaf studies at the local university. I saw your video, she said. I want to offer you a scholarship, full ride. You could get a degree in ASL interpretation, make a real career out of this. James stared at her. I didn't go to college. I barely finished high school. I work at a coffee shop. So what? You taught yourself sign language in 3 months. You have a gift. Let me help you develop it. James looked at Margaret. She was sitting at her usual table by the window, drinking her coffee, reading the newspaper. Can I think about it? He asked. Take all the time you need, Dr. Kim said. That night, James couldn't sleep. He thought about his life, working at the coffee shop, living paycheck to paycheck, no real future, no plan. What if he could do more? What if this wasn't just about Margaret? What if he could help other deaf people feel seen and heard? The next morning, he told Dr. Kim yes. 2 weeks later, James started classes at the university. He still worked mornings at the coffee shop, still saw Margaret every day. But now he was also learning properly. Grammar, cultural sensitivity, the nuances of ASL that YouTube couldn't teach him. It was hard. Harder than anything he'd ever done. He was older than most of his classmates. He struggled with the academic side, reading, writing, tests. But he loved the language, loved the deaf community he was being introduced to, loved feeling like he was part of something bigger than himself. 6 months into the program, Margaret got sick. She didn't come to the coffee shop one morning, or the next, or the next. James was worried. He asked his manager if they had contact information for her. They didn't. He remembered she said she lived 2 blocks away. After his shift, he walked the neighborhood looking for her, knocked on doors, asked neighbors if they knew a deaf elderly woman named Margaret Wilson. Finally, someone pointed him to a small house on Maple Street. The lawn was overgrown. The mailbox was overflowing. James knocked. No answer. He knocked again. Harder. The door opened. Margaret stood there in a bathrobe. She looked terrible, pale, weak. James signed. "What happened? Are you okay?" She signed back weakly. "I have pneumonia. The doctor said I need to rest." "Have you been eating? Do you have food?" She shook her head. James pulled out his phone. "I'm calling someone. You need help. No hospitals, please. I can't afford it." James hesitated. Then he texted his mom, his roommate, his classmates from the university. Within an hour, 5 people showed up at Margaret's house with groceries, medicine, soup. James stayed with her that night, made sure she ate, made sure she took her medication, slept on her couch in case she needed anything. The next morning, Margaret was already looking better. She signed. "Why are you doing this?" "Because you're my friend. Friends take care of each other." Tears rolled down her face. I haven't had a friend in 20 years. "You have one now." Margaret recovered over the next week. James visited every day, brought her food, kept her company, practiced his signing. When she was finally well enough to come back to the coffee shop, the entire staff applauded. They'd all been learning basic signs. "Welcome back. We missed you. We're glad you're okay." Margaret cried happy tears for the 3rd time since James had met her. A year after the video went viral, James graduated from the ASL interpretation program. Top of his class. He got a job at a school for the deaf, working with kids, helping them communicate with their hearing teachers and parents. He still stopped by Sunrise Cafe every morning before work. Still saw Margaret. Still shared a coffee with her. One morning, Margaret brought him an envelope. Inside was a letter, unhandwritten. "Dear James, I am writing this letter because some things need to be said out loud, even by someone who has never spoken aloud in her life. Before you learned to sign, I was invisible. I went through my days like a ghost. People looked past me, through me. I was the deaf lady, the silent one. Nothing more. You saw me, really saw me, and you cared enough to learn my language. Not because you had to, but because you wanted to. You gave me back my humanity. You gave me friendship. You gave me hope that the world still has good people in it. I'm 84 years old. I don't have much time left, but I will spend whatever time I have left being grateful that I met you. Thank you for seeing me. Your friend, Margaret." James read the letter 3 times. By the 3rd time, he couldn't see through his tears. He looked up at Margaret, signed. "Thank you for letting me into your life," she signed back. "Thank you for caring enough to try." 2 years later, James was working at the school when he got a call from Margaret's neighbor. Margaret had passed away peacefully in her sleep. She was 86 years old. At the funeral, James was shocked to see how many people came. Apparently, Margaret had been active in the deaf community for decades. She'd helped establish programs, mentored young deaf adults, made a difference in countless lives. The pastor asked if anyone wanted to share a memory. James stood up. He signed as he spoke so everyone could understand. "Margaret taught me that the greatest gift you can give someone is to see them. Really see them. Not their disability, not their differences, but their humanity. She taught me that learning someone's language is an act of love, and she taught me that it's never too late to make a friend." After the service, several people approached James. They'd seen the original video. They thanked him for bringing attention to the deaf community, for showing that sign language matters, for reminding people that small acts of kindness can change lives. James went home that night and pulled up the video. It had been viewed over 300 million times now. He read the comments. This video inspired me to become an ASL interpreter. I learned sign language because of this. Now I volunteer at a school for the deaf. My daughter is deaf. And this video gave me hope that the world will be kind to her. James realized that what started as a simple gesture to make one woman feel seen had rippled outward in ways he never could have imagined. He thought about Margaret, about her smile, her strength, her friendship. She'd spent her whole life being invisible, and in the end, she'd touched hundreds of millions of people around the world. Not bad for the silent lady from the coffee shop. If this story touched you, share it with someone who needs a reminder that small acts of kindness matter, that seeing people for who they are is the greatest gift we can give, and that it's never too late to learn someone's language. The world needs more people who care enough to try. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.